Hello everyone, my name is Ashish and welcome to the Academy channel. So today in this lecture we are going to discuss about a Spring Boot Actuator and how to use it in your own application. And like normally the Spring Boot Actuator we use to monitor your application in a different environments. So that's why it is one of the key and the most important feature of the Spring Boot. So guys, in this lecture, the first of all we are going to see the basic about the Spring Boot Actuator, and also we are going to see the upgradation they have added to the Spring Boot version 2.x, and also we will see that how it is different from the Spring Boot version 1. So guys, let's start the session. So first of all, I'm going to create a Spring Boot application with the help of a Spring Initializer. So this is our like a Maven project, and here 2.1.6 I will use. So let's change the group name, change the artifact name, and packaging as a jar, and Java 8 I will use. And now it's time to add the dependencies. So Spring Wave I will use, Dev tool I will use, and the actuator I will use Spring Boot Actuator. So these are the dependencies I have added to my application. Now let's download it, or let's generate it. So guys, it is going to generate in a zip format, and now we need to extract it. So for that, let's go to the downloaded folder and extract it here. So let's go to the Eclipse and import our project which we have just created. Provide the path. So guys, we have imported our project inside our Eclipse. So here you can see that we have a Java folder, we have a resource folder. Inside resource we have application.properties file, and we have a pom.xml file. So let's open pom.xml file. So here you can see that we have a dependencies which we have added, like actuator, Spring Wave, and also a Spring Dev tool. And here we are using the version 1.6. So here I am going to change this version to like 2.0.1 release version. So let me save it. So here you can see that we got some error in our project. So let me update our project. So for that, let's go to the Maven and update project, and force update as the snapshot release, and do OK. So guys, our error will go away. And now guys, what I will do, I will create one endpoint, and then I will check that what are the endpoints are provided in a Spring Actuator if we are using a Spring Boot version 2.x. So for this I am going to create one package, and inside that package I am going to create one controller class, and inside that controller class I am going to create my own endpoint. So guys, let me create a package. So let me copy this package name from here. Now let's go to the Java folder, and here we need to add a new package. Let's say with the name controller. Finish this. Now I'm going to add one class. So let's say with the name my controller. So I will make this controller as a REST controller by adding annotation as a REST controller, and I will mark this with a request mapping. So let's provide the URL. Now I will create one endpoint. So let's create a public method of a return type as a string test endpoint. And here I will return a dummy string. Calling test endpoint method. So here I am returning a dummy string. So let's mark this with a get mapping, and let's provide the URL as test. So guys, I have created my own endpoint here, and guys, it is returning a dummy string from here. Now let me start my application or run as a Java application. So now our application is running, and you can see that it is started on port number 8080. And here guys, you can see that we are exposed with the two endpoints with the the slash actuator slash health and the slash actuator slash info. So guys, these are the two endpoints which are enabled by default in a Spring Boot version 2.x. So here we are using the Spring Boot version 2.x, so that's why in the starting by default we are exposed with the only two endpoints. If you were using the Spring Boot version 1, then guys, we may get the more the endpoints like the thread mapping and the thread dump and the beans. So now here we are using the Spring Boot version 2, so that's why we are getting only the two endpoints by default. So guys, this is the difference between the Spring Actuator of Spring Boot version 1 and Spring Boot version 2. In Spring Boot version 1 we are enabled with the more endpoints, but in Spring version 2 only two endpoints are exposed by default in the starting. So guys, here I have created my endpoint, so let's check that whether it is working or not. So for that I will go to my Postman and I will check my endpoint. So let's copy, and here endpoint URL is test. So this is the get method, so let's hit the send button. So here you can see that we got in a response a dummy string. It means that our endpoint is working fine. Now we are going to check the endpoints provided by the Spring Actuator, and let's see what it does. So copy the endpoint, go to the Postman, and here we can paste it and then hit the send button. So guys, the endpoint is like actuator slash health. So guys, here it is providing the status is up. It means that our application status is up and our application is working fine. So guys, the actuator slash health is actually give us the information of our status of our application. So we have one more endpoint with the name info. So let's check what it's provide. So here you can see that if we hit the send button, it is showing an empty object. So guys, it means that guys, we have only two endpoints in the starting because we are using the Spring Boot version 2.x. Alright, so guys, let's check the another endpoint that whether we are able to access or not. So let's say that we have the another endpoint with the name as a mappings. So let me hit a send button, or let's check that we are getting the mapping or not. So here guys, you can see that we got a status as 404 and error as not found. It means that only the two endpoints are enabled by default in the starting because we are using the Spring Boot version 2.x. So now let's see how we can enable all the other endpoints, or how we can expose the other endpoints in Spring version 2.x. So for that we need to add some property in our application.property file. So let's go to the application.property file, and here we need to add some property like management dot endpoints dot wave dot exposure dot include equals to star. So this property is going to include all the endpoints by default in the starting because here we are using Spring Boot 2.x. So we need to add this property to our property file to expose all the other endpoints. So here my spelling is mistake of include, include, include. Yeah, so let me save this file. So guys, our application will run automatically because here we are using dev tool. So now guys, you can see that now we are exposed with the 14 endpoints, and guys, in the previous we have seen that only two endpoints was there, but now we are exposed with 14 endpoints by default because we have added this property to our application.property file. So we got the endpoints like equator slash audit event to check our all the audit events, and we got like the endpoint like beans to check all the beans present in our application, we got health to check the status of our application, we got like condition to check all the conditions used in our application, and we have the environment endpoint to check the environments, and we have a thread DOM, and we have also a mapping. So let's go to Postman and let's check the mapping one. That guys, in the previous it was not working, right? So now let's hit the send button and let's check whether it is an enable or not. Yes guys, you can see that it is giving us a response of the mapping files which were used in this application. So it means that our mapping endpoint is working fine. So let's go and check the other endpoints. So let's check like a thread DOM. So guys, the thread DOM is actually like let's hit a thread DOM endpoint. So guys, it is going to give us the information of all the threads working, all the active threads working in our application. So let's hit the send button, and here you can see that we are getting the thread name as a simple post detector thread, and all the thread ID this, and the block time is -1. All right, so these are the all information we are getting as a response of the thread DOM. Now let's check the another endpoint. Like we have a heap dump, we have information, we have an environment. So let's go and check the environment one. Let's paste it here. So guys, it is going to give us all the environment of our application, like name as a server.port, and we are using 8080 port number. All right, so this is the system property, and here all system properties are defined, and here we are getting in a response the information of our system properties. So guys, with these endpoints we can get the information, or we can monitor our application in a different environment, or in a different way. So guys, actually the Spring Actuator is used to monitor your application, and guys, you can get the information of your each environment by accessing these endpoints. Now we are going to check the other endpoint. Let's check the bean available to my application. So for that we have a endpoint with the name actuator/beans to access all the beans present in our application. All right, so now let's check another endpoints. Like guys, we have a health endpoint. All right, so we are going to check the health of our application by just calling this endpoint, and let's hit the send button. So guys, you can see that we are getting the health of our application is like status is up. So guys, here guys, it is like a predefined health matrix. So guys, now instead of like a predefined health matrix, we can customize our health matrix also. Suppose I am using one client, and based on that we need to perform a business, and like if my application is off and I am trying to access it, then guys, I will not able to access it, right? In the similar way, right, in the similar case, we need to implement one health matrix or a customized health matrix to get the information, to get the customized information of my application. So let's say that all right, so let's say that I want to create my own customized health matrix to get a customized information. Like guys, I want to check the internet connection of my local machine. So now guys, I will implement one customized health matrix, and I will show you how to implement a customized health matrix in which I will show like the information of my Wi-Fi. So guys, let's say that I have a Wi-Fi in my local machine, and if my Wi-Fi is turned off or my internet is not working, then guys, it should provide some information like inactive like internet connection. Or if my like the internet is working fine, then it should provide the information or the response as a active internet connection. So let's see how to implement a customized health matrix. So for that, let's go to the Eclipse, and here I will create one package. So let me copy this package first. So package I will provide with the name health. So let me stop the server, otherwise it will restart again and again automatically. All right, so guys, I have created one package with the name health, and guys, inside this package I will create one Java class. Why it is not providing the source folder? Let me delete this package first. So again I will create one package. Let's say with the name health. Let's create one Java class. Yeah, now it's providing the source folder information. So I will keep the name of the class as a internet health matrix. And here guys, I want to see the information of that my local machine internet is active or inactive. So for that I have created one class internet health matrix, and here I want to customize my health matrix. So this is my component, so I will mark this with the component, and I need to implement this class with a health indicator interface. So guys, we have a health indicator interface to customize our health matrix. So guys, the health indicator interface has one abstract method with the name health, so we need to override it. So let me add the unimplemented method. So this is the health method, abstract method of the health indicator interface. So here we are overriding this method, and here the return type health. So now guys, I will create one method, let's say private method, and the return type is like boolean. Method name is like check internet. So guys, this check internet method is going to check the internet of my local machine. So let me provide some boolean flag. So now I am going to create the object of the URL by using the new operator or the new keyword, and here I will provide the URL which I want to access. Like let's say I want to access https www.google.com. So now I will create so we need to surround this with a try and catch. So inside the try, after the URL object, I want to create the URL connection. So URL connection equals to URL dot open connection. So guys, it is going to open our connection. So it is saying to throw exception. So let's make this as a super exception so that it will handle all the exceptions. All right. Now I am going to do connection dot connect method. So guys, it is going to connect our internet, and if my internet is working fine and if it is connecting with the www.google.com, then I will make my flag as a true boolean. Or if anything goes wrong, and if anything goes wrong, like if I get any exception, like if the internet connection is not connected, or Wi-Fi is off, or for some reason my internet is not working, then guys it will go to my catch block, because I will get here the exception in the try block. So it will go right to the catch block to handle the exception, and inside the catch block I will make the flag as false. It means our internet connection is not working. All right, so let me return this flag from here. So guys, we have a check internet connection, so it is going to check the internet connection of my local machine, and here I have created the URL object, and here I have passed HTTP, and here I have passed like the URL as www.google.com, and then I have created the URL connection, and I have opened the connection, and connection.connect is going to connect our internet. And then guys, if everything goes fine, then it will store flag as true, or if I get any exception in try block, then it is going to the catch block, and here I have marked the flag as false, and I am returning this value. Now I need to override this health method. So guys, now I'm going to write the implementation inside the health method. So for that I will create one reference variable of the health, and here I will store null. So here I will here I will use a ternary operator to check the condition that whether my internet is working or not. So let's call the check internet method. If this check internet method is returning true, it means our internet of my local machine is working fine. So here what I will do, health dot, I will call the up method dot up method, all right, and then with detail here I will pass the key here pass as a success, and inside the value I will pass as like a active internet connection, all right, and here I will call the build method. Now let's say that this check internet connection is returning false. It means that our internet is not working of my local machine, then it will provide false. So in that case what I will do, health dot down method, and then with detail I will provide the key and the values. Let's say that I am providing key as an error code, and guys, in the key error code I am providing the value as, let's say, in active internet connection. Let's call a build method. So let me rearrange it. So guys, I have created a class, a customize health matrix class, to provide us a customized information, like if my internet, so guys, it is going to check the internet connection of my local machine. If the internet connection of my local machine is like off, or it is not working, something like that, then guys it is going to provide us false, and then guys it is going to show us an error code with the inactive internet connection. And if the internet connection is working fine, then guys this method is going to return true, and guys it is going to show us a response key as success code, inside which we will get active internet connection in my response. All right, so now guys I need to enable my health matrix. So for that I need to write some property inside my application.property file. So let me enable my health matrix, customize health matrix. So management dot endpoint dot health dot show detail, detail, details equals to always. So guys, this property is going to enable our health matrix. It is going to make our health matrix as customize. So guys, it is going to access our customized health matrix, not the default one which are like provided by the actuator. So now it will access our customized health matrix like we have provided here. All right, so let me save all these classes. So we have to start our server because I have stopped the server. So run as a Java application. So you can see that our application has started on 8080. So now let's go to our Postman, and now let's check the health endpoint. So guys, now we have customized our health matrix. So guys, here you can see that my Wi-Fi is on and our internet is working fine. So let me hit this endpoint and let's check what information I am getting in a response. Status for not internet, internal server error. All right, so we got some error. So let's check the error. Null pointer exception we are getting. All right, so let's check the error, why we are getting null pointer exception. So this is our internet health matrix. Yeah, this is the class. So guys, here you guys so guys, here I'm returning null. Actually I should return here the health object. So guys, by mistake I left this part. So sorry guys, now it is fine. Now again save it, so it will restart my server because I am using dev tool here. All right, now let's go to our postman and let's hit again this endpoint and let's check what information we are getting. So guys, you can see that we are getting as a success code and as a value we are getting active internet connection. It means that we are able to write or implement a customized health information and we are getting the information according to our requirement of my application. So now let's turn off my internet and let's check the other part is working or not. So I have turned off my Wi-Fi and now let's hit this health and check what information we are getting. So guys, you can see that we are getting error code and the inactive internet connection. It means that our internet connection is not working of my local machine. All right, so guys, in this way I have shown you how to customize your health matrix. So guys, in the same way you can customize all the 14 endpoints provided here. Like guys, you can see that we have the 14 endpoints. So guys, in the same way, so now guys, I have shown you how to customize your health matrix endpoint. In the same way you can customize your own with the 14 endpoints according to your application requirement or project requirement. All right, so now guys, I will show you the another concept, how to add your own endpoint. So guys, in this guys, you can see that you are exposing with the only 14 endpoints. So guys, in the Spring Actuator you can add your own endpoints also. You can create your own endpoints, your own logic or your customized endpoint informations. So let's see how you can add your own endpoint. So for that, what I will do, I will create one package for this. So let me copy this package from here, go to the Java folder and let's hit the create the package with the name, let's say this is endpoint, yeah, endpoint package. And here inside this package I will create one Java class, let's say my endpoint. So guys, this is my endpoint class and now here I am going to write the logic to create my own endpoint. All right, so first of all, this is a component, so let's mark this with the component, and this is our endpoint. All right, so let me mark this with the endpoint annotation. So guys, I have created this endpoint and now it's time to provide the name to the endpoint. So for that, pass the ID in the argument as, let's say I want to provide the name of my endpoint as xadmin. And guys, I want that this endpoint should be enabled by default. So for that I have to do enable by default equals to true. So guys, it is going to enable this endpoint by default. So these are the so guys, these are the annotation you have to use to create your own endpoint, and this ID is to provide the name to the endpoint as xadmin, and this enable by default is used to enable your endpoint. Now let's write. So now guys, I am going to create one class. So let's say that I want to create a customized response class to get the information or a message into my response. So for that I will create one customized class, let's say with the name my endpoint. All right, and guys, here what I will do, and this is my my endpoint response, let's say make it my endpoint response class. So here I will define the three properties of this class: private of type integer as the ID, private of a string type as a name, and the private of a string type as a status. So these are the three properties I have added to my endpoint response class. Now let's create a parametric constructor for this. Now let's create a default constructor. So I will add the getter and the setter method to add some value or to get some value to the properties file. select all and generate. So guys, I have created one class like my endpoint response class, and guys, it is the response value it will provide in our response whoever will access this endpoint, our customized endpoint. All right, and here I have created a parametric constructor. This is default constructor and the getter and the setter method. Now here I will create one endpoint. So let's say with the name public, and here the return type will be my endpoint response type as an object. So this is endpoint. Let me define the method name endpoint, and it will return the object of my endpoint response class. And here I will use a parametric constructor to create the object of my endpoint response class, so that I can assign the value to the instance variable of my endpoint response class. So here ID I will pass as 1.1, and then in place of name I will pass as xadmin / Ashish, and in the place of status, let's say I will pass as active. So these are the information I have stored the properties of my response class. All right, and guys, here I need to mark this with the read operation, because here I am doing a read operation. So guys, in the same way you can mark this with a like a write operation and a delete operation also, but here I am doing a read operation. All right, so guys, I have created my own endpoint, and here I have marked this with the @annotation endpoint, and here I have defined the name of my endpoint with the ID equals to xadmin, and I have enabled by default as true. All right, and I have defined my own custom class for the response, and here I am passing the three properties as ID, name and status. So let's save all this. So it is going to start our server by itself, because here we are using dev tool. So let's see guys, here you can see that now guys we are exposed with the 15 endpoints. So guys, in the previous we were exposed with the 14 endpoints. Now we are exposed with the 15 endpoints. It means that we are able to create our own endpoint with the name actuator / xadmin. All right, so guys, xadmin is the ID here I have provided, and the actuator is by default the address of my endpoint. So /actuator / xadmin. So let's access this from my postman, and let's check that whether it is working or not. So guys, I have created my own endpoint and I have exposed this to my actuator. Now let's hit the send button and let's check the information in the response. So guys, you can see that we are getting the response as ID, name and status. It means that we are able to add our own endpoint to the Spring Actuator. So guys, in this lecture we have seen the basic about the Spring Actuator. So guys, the Spring Actuator is used to monitor your application in a different environment, and guys, the Spring Actuator provides a different endpoints to get a different information of your application. And guys, we have also seen how it is different from your Spring Boot version 1. And guys, in Spring Boot version 1 we get all the endpoints by default, but in Spring Boot version 2 we get only the 2 endpoints by default. And guys, we have to enable all the endpoints by ourselves by writing the property to our application.property file. And guys, we have also learned how to customize your health matrix. So guys, in the same way you can customize all other matrix like the 14 matrix also. All right, and guys, in the last we have also seen how to create your own endpoint. And guys, in the similar way you can create your own endpoint according to your requirement of your application or the requirement of your client, right? You can create your own endpoint and you can get the information as a API call to the information of your application. All right, so guys, this is all about your Spring Actuator. So thank you and have a nice day guys. Bye bye, see you soon.